Okay, David, we're going to do a quick review of multiplying fractions. Now, there's so many ways to think about when you multiply a fraction. 3/4 times 8, you can go back to regular multiplication and you can think of it as skip counting. You could skip count 3/4 8 times, so 3/4, 6/4, 9/4, 12/4, 15/4, 18/4, 21/4, or 24/4. It would be 24/4. Now you know that if you turn that into a whole number, 4 goes into 24 6 times. So skip counting is one way to think of multiplying fractions. Now, skip counting is great and it's very efficient for lower numbers, but it doesn't always work for every problem we get. So the other way I can do is I can turn it into a multiplication problem. And the first thing I need to know to be able to turn it into a multiplication problem is I need to know that 8 wholes is the same as 8 over 1. Okay? 3/4 times 8. 3/4 times 8 over 1. It's the same thing. So if I flip over here on my grid paper and I put in 3/4, I'm timesing it by 8 over 1. And as you know, when we multiply fractions, we simply multiply across. So 3 times 8 is 24. 4 times 1 is 4. So 3/4 times 8 over 1 is 24/4. And if you convert that into a whole number, again, 4 goes into 24, you get 6. So the second way is to just do the multiplication equation. And the key for all of this is to know that a whole number goes over 1. And our third method that I know you like quite a bit is to think of these problems in groups, okay? And the way to do this is first you have to know that 3/4 times 8, it's solved in the same way as 3/4 of 8. So if you think of that, if I wanted 3/4 of 8 of something, so like 3/4 of 8 apples or 3/4 of 8 comics, the first thing I do is my denominator tells me to make 4 groups. Okay? So I make 4 groups. Then I'm splitting these 8 comics into the 4 groups. So that means I could put 2 comics in each group. Then, since I want 3/4 of them, the numerator tells me to take 3 of them. So 3/4 of 8 is 2, 4, 6. So the third way is to use groups. Okay, so the next thing to know is that oftentimes you'll see this concept of multiplying fractions when it comes to conversions. So for instance, I might see a problem like 1/4 of 1 hour equals how many minutes? So the first thing I need to know is how many minutes is 1 hour? So I know that 1 hour equals 60 minutes, okay? So I'm looking for 1/4 of 1 hour. So the first thing I'll probably do is the groups method. And I like to do that on the blank paper so I don't get confused by the squares. So I split a box into fourths, and I'm dividing up this 60. Okay? I know that 60 can be split 4 times into 15s. And I want one of them. So 1/4 of 60 is 15 minutes. Now let's look at the multiplication way. So for the multiplication way, you have to remember that 60 minutes is the same as 60 over 1. That's 60 whole, 61 minutes. So then to write that as an equation, sorry it's not focused, that would be 1/4 times 60 over 1. So 1 times 60 is 60. 4 times 1 is 4. 60 divided by 4 is 15. Now, I could do the skip counting method, but counting 1/4 60 times seems like a lot to count, so I probably won't do the skip counting method. All right, I hope these videos help.